one of the major, one of the 13 principles of the Rambam, the 13 Animamin, is we all believe that Moshe Rabeinu is the Av HaNaviim, is the father of all prophets. What do you mean he's the father of all prophets? He wasn't the first. Obviously Avram came before him, Yitzchak, Yaakov. So what do you mean he was the father of all prophets? So what the Rambam means is he was the Av HaNaviim, is he was the greatest of all prophets. That Moshe Rabbeinu, so to speak, was able to speak to God panim al panim, face to face. As opposed to, as the Rambam explains, the difference between Nevuas Moshe and Nevuas all the other Nevi'im is that, but all the other Nevi'im got Nevuah, they were in like in a daze, in a sleep, in a dream, they weren't fully there. But Moshe Rabbeinu, he was able to communicate as much as one can face to face. So he was on a different level than all the other prophets. And that's why we find by Avram Avinu, we even find that when Avram Avinu was recovering from the circumcision, and he went ahead and he was speaking to God, God came to do Bikar Cholim, and in the middle of talking to God, all of a sudden he sees 3 strangers coming, so he leaves God and he takes care of the people. And from here we learn at halacha gedola hachnasis archem v'kabbalas pnei hashchina. Greater is the mitzvah of entertaining guests than speaking to God. And that's what it means, is to get closer to God by doing acts of imitation. Mahu b'china, we do acts of imitation as opposed to just speaking. But that's how we learn out the halacha. The question is, how did Avram know that? Seems a little chutzpah in the middle of talking to God. It's easy for me, that's the halacha. But how did Avram know it? That's what Rav Alpert explained, that because from God told him, we don't see God telling him directly. Where did God indirectly tell him? Because Avram, every time God was talking to Avram, Avram was in a deep sleep, spaced out, in some type of daze. And usually it's pitch black when God's talking to him. All of a sudden, in the middle of his conversation, he sees a picture. Because how did he see these people? So in the middle of talking to God, he saw a picture of these 3 people coming. So he's thinking, what's going on here? I've never seen anything going like this happen before. Why is God showing me these people? Must be because he wants me to do it. So God learned it from, to Avram learned it from God. But normally, the normal nevuah was that it wasn't on that level. So the question is, that so Nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu is the greatest of all Nevi'im. And in fact, we learned it out at the end of Parashas Beha'aloscha with the story of Miriam. That Miriam and Aaron, when they were talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, Miriam was talking about his brother Aaron, brother Moshe, saying, what's going on? He thinks he's greater than us. He doesn't have to be with his wife anymore. We're prophets also. We live a normal life. So, and as Rav Elchanan Wasserman points out, this is the source of Lashon Hara, and she gets saras. Imagine, she had the greatest intentions, Miriam. She wasn't talking negatively. She was talking in a positive sense, that Moshe, it's not fair to Moshe's wife. Whatever the case might have been. It wasn't like she was talking which she had negative connotations, and she meant, yet nevertheless, it's still Lashon Hara. But as they point out, from here we learn out the yesod of the Nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu, that it wasn't even. But from here, parenthetically, Miriam thought he was like every other prophet, and the Torah tells us no, that Moshe Rabbeinu is different. The Moshe Rabbeinu isn't like us. He has to. He always has the Shekhinah coming any time, and therefore he can't be with his wife. In fact, there's a famous kasha of the Minchas Chinuch. The Minchas Chinuch, as we have a Gemara tells us in Sanhedrin, we learn out from the Torah, there's a mitzvah to listen to a Navi, a prophet. And of course, it has to be a Navi Muksak. It has to be someone who's proven to be a prophet. And there are many different conditions in terms of when you listen, when you don't. But in general, there's all things being equal, there's a mitzvah to listen to a prophet. And in fact, I think the Gemara, the Mishnah tells us, if a prophet gives you a tzivoy to do and you don't do it, Yechayev Misa. So comes along the Minchas Chinuch and says, if that's the case, we're in trouble. Because last I checked, Moshe Rabbeinu was a prophet. He gave us the Torah, 613 mitzvahs. If any time we don't keep any of the 613 mitzvahs, we're chayav misa, and that's the Minchas. So he might come up. I'm assuming he has his own answer to that shaila. So I think Rav Selevan has a famous answer to it, is because Moshe Rabbeinu truly was a navi. So when Moshe Rabbeinu was giving a horashah, he was giving something b'Torah's nevuah. You're right. If you didn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu, you were chayav misa. But when Moshe Rabbeinu was giving the Torah's Moshe, it was no longer nevuah. It was like Ashchina midaberes mito grono shel Moshe. It was getting a command from God. That's why nevuah's Moshe is different. Nevuah's Moshe is excluded from this. Meaning, if he's just giving a regular nevuah, not b'Torah, then maybe the laws of prophecy apply. But in the case here, when he wrote the Torah, it was a totally different prophecy, and that's why it's one of the fundamental tenets the Rambam takes, because it ensures that the Torah will be eternal. Because anyone comes along and says they want to change the Torah, we know they're a false prophet. So no matter what the person, because based on this premise, because if I don't assume Moshe Rabbeinu is the greatest of all prophets, okay, I woke up this morning, I'm greater than Moshe. This is what you. So by putting in that Moshe Rabbeinu is the greatest of all prophets, that's in essence saying the Torah can't be changed. Anyone who does change, he's chayav. It's like you have a navi. It's like the case of navi sheker. Someone comes in, so he's chayav misa, and that's the pshat. You don't listen to a navi, but we see from here, from the different rayas. But by the end of the parsha here, by the incident of Miriam and Moshe, we learn out in parenthetically the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu, that he was different than all the prophets. He was the Av HaNaviim, and it guarantees the Torah can never change.